Is there anything I can do?
We've come to see Zhang...
Unfortunately, Zhongli...
Doesn't the Northland Bank belong to the Fatui? Last time we saw Zhongli was before we went to the Golden House. Do you think he doesn't know about the attack on Liyue? Visiting the Fatui at a time like... We had better go and make sure that everything is okay.
Ofertas de fin de año, Red Redemption 2, Asesoría de Sale. ¿Cuánto vale esto, A ver a cuánto lo pone. Bueno, que trola. El Red Redemption 2, 65% de descuento y vale 35 pavos. Valía 100.
You call this cooperation between harbingers? Cooperation involves communication, you know.
Es un juegazo. Tiene un
Don't
mapa.
take it to heart, child.
Es en 2D.
Besides, aren't you happy that you got to skip the formalities
¿Cómo se llama?
and bring chaos to the
Hollow
land?
Knight.
I'm sure you
No sé,
must
aquí
have
pone
enjoyed
edición
that.
corazón vacío, no sé. Yo lo jugué en
Oh,
la
it seems that some of your friends have
en la
arrived.
Xbox de mi cuñado, pero no sabía que estaba para Play. Pero es un
Johnny
juegazo,
and Child.
pero exagerado.
It's
video?
you two. I believe we've met
Es que
once before.
es exagerado.
In the city of
Además
Bards,
a ti te
was
va a
it?
gustar porque es
I'm glad you
difícil
still remember my
de
name.
cojones.
Ah, right. I imagine that it must have been rather hard to forget watching helplessly as something precious was snatched away from your friend.
Well, if it isn't you two. This is our first time seeing each other since Liyue was nearly wiped off the map.
Paimon knew that we should never have trusted a Fatui Harbinger.
Oh, now don't say that. Sure, I may have misled you, but I never had any... Besides, I thought we were getting along quite well together, didn't you? Except for that little tussle we had at the end. Nothing personal. We just have different views, that's all. Of course, you may very well hold this against me, but the real deceivers here are Senora and Zhongli. Curse them for leading me on. So actually, I think...
Stop wasting time, child. There'll be plenty of time to chat once I'm through here. You remember the agreement, Morax. Now, if you would be so kind. The Gnosis, please.
What in the world are you talking about?
The contract is fulfilled. That which thou seeketh is...
How sanctimonious.
Ah, pero los tiene, las ignora esta,
So you're the Lord of
Buah,
Geo?
perolones.
No, wait.
¿Pero dónde
That's
sale
an
la señora?
exciting twist and all, but
Dale,
why
habla,
give the
la historia.
Gnosis to the Fatui?
I do not give
No,
it
está
for free.
Zhongli.
I give it as
sí.
agreed
Y el
upon in the
Mauricio.
contract. For it is a matter solely between the
Son
Tsaritsa and I.
Fatui. Yo, a mí eso no me queda muy
Think
claro.
you went a little bit too far with that whole fake death thing? Everyone was preparing the ceremony for you, and splat! This big dragon falls out of the sky, and all of live.
Gathering all the forces that had been bubbling behind the scenes, and then stirring them together in a pot that was bound to boil up.
Wait, what?
Perhaps it's best that I explain. As you know, I've dwelt upon this world for more than 6,000 years. Even boulders that can withstand whirlpools will erode with the passing of time. Until one drizzly day, as I was strolling along the harbor, I heard a merchant tell one of his workers. I stood motionless among the crowds, asking myself,
Oh, Zhongli.
but as I began to consider relinquishing my divine role, I soon discovered that many reasons still remained to not... Was Liyue, the city I had dwelt in for so long, already prepared to enter its next age? So I feigned my own death
Presiente una
and
victoria.
gathered the cast of Child, the Adepti,
No ganas nada.
and the Liyue Chising to play their roles
Quiere un
together on the
triunfo,
stage
quiere
that was
la
Liyue.
triple
That's right.
corona.
Which is why I continued to safe...
So you mean that if the chaos ever reached the point of no return, you would simply appear and...
Of course. And it would have been all too easy for him to. Just as a child quickly matures after losing their parents, so has Leo matured when faced with.
I was pleasantly surprised with the finale of the show that the Adepti deserve the greatest applause, considering their years of seclusion. They hardly recognized the city, yet faced with such a crisis, they exerted the greatest amount of restraint. And hats off to the emissary dispatched by the Cryo-Archon to fulfill our contract, Signora. She managed to keep everything she knew in strict confidence, far from the eavesdropping. All the while, I carried on as Zhongli, and fulfilled the traditions of Liyue in this mortal form. These things were all a part of my script. The only unforeseen plot twist was the conduct of the Liyue Qixing. I had expected them to do no more than the Adepti, to come to the defense of. They seized the opportunity to supplant Liyue as divine protectors, and used the subsequent power vacuum left by my death.
Huh? That doesn't sound good at all!
On the contrary, I think it is excellent. I had always feared that it was too soon for them to take over from me. And it was also that which I longed for the most.
Hey, what about me? Doesn't anyone feel the least bit of remorse for deceiving me?
I think that thanks would be more appropriate. You certainly played no small part in all of this, wreaking havoc and turning the city upside down. If you hadn't created the pressure of a battle between mortals, Adepti, and a god, the lump of coal resting in the hands of the Geo-Archon.
Huh? Just whose side are you on, mocking me like that? Are you itching for a fight? Hey, haven't you learned the Liyue saying, don't always call it as you see it?
A tu puta casa tú también.
Well then, with the Gnosis in my possession, I have no use for such idle chatter. We should return to Zapoyani Palace and seek an audience with Her Majesty. Sorry.
Tiene calentamiento, ¿no?
I'll meet you there later. I'm not sharing a boat with the likes of you.
Do as you wish.
Se la zumba aquí el novil a la señora.
Now then, is there anything else you wish to ask me?
Right! As Zhongli always told us, a good trade is a fair trade. Paimon has no idea what could be a good trade for an...
Realistically speaking, there is...
Huh?
However, I am the god of contracts. For thousands of years, I have made countless contracts. My agreement with the Cryo-Archon will be the last of my contracts as the Geo-Archon. As for the bargaining chip that the Tsaritsa used to balance the scale, uncover that answer for yourself in your future journeys.
Today's the day of the rite of parting. Although the star of the show is fake, we spent so much time trying to organize it, it would be a real shame not to go there now.
Vete al juego ahora, de repente.
So Rex Lapis is really... Oh, come on. Do you think that the assassin could have been a normal person? You know what I think? I don't think any of the... There's only one real possibility in my mind. I've heard that the assassin was that Fatui fella.
Fatui? They certainly are very suspicious. Who...
Shh! Lower your voice.
8,800.
If the Fatui catch you in their sights, Rex Lapis won't be around...
You know that god from the ocean couldn't have just shown up out of nowhere. I mean, it's been 2,000...
Yes, and to think that this happened right on the heels of the incident with Rex Lapis.
Say, do you think the person who assassinated our lord and released that evil
Now that you mention it, that's very possible. I mean, it all fits together. That person must have colluded with the evil god to harm Rex Lapis. Oh, that wicked black heart. Still, what sort of supernatural prowess must this person possess to be able to do such things?
Ah, forget it. Guessing's no use to us. Look, the Millilith over there looks like he's about to make an announcement. Let's hear what the Ministry of Civil Affairs has to say first.
Hear ye all! Though a dragon soars ageless as the mountains, it too must return to dust. The gods and Adepti live glorious lives, but both light and shadow have their season. Rumors and hearsay abound on the streets that Rex Lapis was murdered. Having been thwarted in his trial, Rex Lapis's soul has recouped the celestial heights. Nor are they to believe street-born rumors or indulge in baseless speculation.
Muy bonito, venga.
Paimon needs a
Si no habla
translation
Paimon,
on
no
what the
está a gusto,
Chising's
joder.
announcement said. So that's how they're spinning. Something feels off. Why would they suddenly give up looking for the murderer? Not to mention how could the Chising already have known that Rex Lapis wasn't dead? But Zhongli said, did Zhongli tell them in secret after his... Exactly, right? Ooh, seems like the rite of parting has been going on...
A ver, la ceremonia.
Look, it's Ningguang and Kuching. Are they saying something?
As said previously, Rex Lapis's
Van a
soul
cantar aquí
returning
las
to the
Spy Girls.
heavens is the end of the contract.
¡Ay, fiesta!
And it is also
Ay, fiesta.
the end of an era.
Sacar esos Cuba Libres ahí.
3,700 years of contracts burnt and reduced to...
We, the people of
Aquí hablan de
Liyue,
años como que son días.
were indeed prosperous. But blinded by our prosperity, we forgot that time can be pitiless.
The long, unending dream of our Archon walking among us.
Now that we have awoken from our dream, we must learn to say farewell. Will you stand with us as we re-establish our contracts?
So concludes the words of Her Eminence the Tianquan. Does Her Eminence the Yuheng have anything to add?
Huh? Is she looking this way?
Traveler.
Yikes! She really is looking our way!
Is that the traveler who they say defeated the ancient god?
So young.
Me dispara un
The
sniper.
Liyue Chising always repay their
No
debts.
puede conmigo.
And as you have heard, our eyes see far and our reach is long. Name your price. You...
Whoa!
Well, could you help me put up some missing person posters?
El último adiós, logro desbloqueado.
Perhaps...
And to think I'd put my best perfume, but it seems as if those perfumes really would. Well, that's fine. Suffer no rivals in life.
As for the...
Race you! Hey, Zhongli! Look at this. Everyone in Liyue is caught up in their emotions. And here you are looking all relaxed.
Why would I not feel more at ease after laying down the burden I have borne for 3,700 years? Right. If the two of you can spare the time.
Ha! like big talk, Zhongli. Paimon might have believed you if you were treating us to some third-round knockout. But you have to pay out your nose just to stand it.
You're right. I do lack the mora.
Este siempre está rateando, tío. Quiere ir a cenar, pero no tiene dinero.
Nunca, nunca. Es el más millonario y nunca tiene dinero.
Por eso,
I can
¿no lo
easily
saca?
create mora. But since I have chosen to walk this earth as the mortal Zhongli,
Nunca tiene un duro el hijo de...
when I was journeying with you, though I still had the Gnosis in hand, I knew that I must soon retire from my role as an Archon.
Oh, no wonder. Paimon gets it now. You didn't look at the price tag, but since you weren't used to not being able to just make more Mora as and when you wanted to, you had to try becoming a parasite to society.
Well, we were only spending Fatui money. You don't have... In the City of Commerce, we do not merely exchange money or goods. We also exchange not... The Archon Morax could never experience life as the true mortal Zhong. I must thank you for that. I will treasure the memories that I made as Zhongli. Travel, that is true. But there is no journey that does not end.
Paimon thinks that we should make a move and continue our search for the Seven.
I fear that continuing your journey may be difficult. The nation that neighbors Liyue by sea, Inazuma, is presently the Electro-Archon Ball. And just as the people of Liyue preferred to call me Rex Lapis.
Paimon thinks we've heard that one before. Right?
That is the case. And since Raiden is also the Shogun of the Inazuma Bakufu, people call her the Raiden Shogun.
That said, though people at the wharf were saying that the situation in Inazuma is very tense, Paimon doesn't remember that always being... Zhongli,
Se viene Inazuma en la siguiente actualización.
shouldn't you know something about what's happening there? Just how did Inazuma become a closed name?
It's because of visions.
Visions?
When faced with circumstances beyond their control, humans often bemoan their lack. But if a person shows true strength of will at a desperate and fateful moment in their life, this is what visions are. Magical foci bestowed upon those who have been acknowledged by them.
That's how people in Teyvat see it.
But starting from last year, the Raiden Shogun began promulgating the Vision Hunt Decree.
Vision Hunt Decree?
Yes. It was an order to seize all visions within Inazuma's borders, and to inlay them upon the hands of a statue.
They want to seize visions. But why? Aren't visions blessings from the gods?
I should think that in the Raiden Shogun's eyes, it is precisely because they are divine blessings.
Whoa, that's harsh.
The Animo Archon is the god of freedom, and the Geo Archon is the god of contracts. For her part, the Raiden Shogun is the god of eternity. The fact that even I, the oldest of the seven, have now passed away, will only strengthen her resolve. Knowing her, she must have again quoted that adage she is most fond of when proclaiming that decree. 7 ideals for 7 gods, and of these, eternity is... All right then. Was there anything else you wish to know? Well then, I suppose you'll have to find a way to get inside this closed nation.
Parece que acaba la historia.